I'm honored to be here, and I'm particularly delighted to be here with Congressman Tim Scott, who's doing a tremendous job and is really going to become a great national leader. So it's terrific to be here with Tim. But I just want to share with you for a brief minute, the very first bill I co-sponsored in 1979 as a new freshman congressman from Georgia was the holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as a Georgian, I felt a particular obligation to stand up and say this was the right thing to do. At that time, it was a fairly unusual position for a Southern Republican. But I felt that because I had grown up, I'd been born in Pennsylvania, I'd grown up in the U.S. Army, I'd come to Georgia when segregation was still real, and I think for the younger people who are here, it's a little hard to imagine how dramatically things have changed, how much courage it took for people like Dr. King, for people like John Lewis, for people like Andy Young, how much genuine danger there was, and how much they were challenging the entire fabric of the world they were in. There are three things about Dr. King I just want to mention this morning. The first was the passion of his vision. If you read all of his greatest speeches or his greatest writing, this is a person who believed with all of his heart, who gave all of his life, who was totally committed to the cause of freeing human beings and saving human beings. I think it's very important to remember that he was a pastor, he was a preacher, that he cared from a standpoint of God's will and a standpoint of salvation, a far higher calling than just politics. The second was the steady persistence. You go to Montgomery and you look at the museum that was set up because of the original busing incident in 1955. And you think about the people who year after year after year did the walks, endured the bombings, went to prison, and just continued to get back up. No matter how often they were knocked down, they came back. Finally, I think there's a remarkable degree to which the nation came to rally around him. It says a lot of good things about America, that the March on the Mall, the speech, which is his most famous speech at the Lincoln Memorial, was a national event that had began to bring together the entire country for dramatic and profound change. I would just suggest to all of you that Dr. King would ask us today, not just to look back and remember, but to look forward, to look to the young people who are here in this room, to look to the young people who aren't here in this room, to ask ourselves, to what degree can we give to them the same spirit of hope, the same idealism, the same belief in America, the same understanding that salvation comes through faith in God, and that together we can in fact create a dramatically better future for all Americans of every background. And then as a model for the world, we can reach out and help create a better future for all people everywhere. I think that is the legacy he would ask us to remember today. Thank you for allowing me to be here.